Hello, we are back with more Gukesh games, but actually we're not going to look at Gukesh now. We're going to look at his opponent in the World Champion match here, Liren. Liren played a very famous game that we're going to look at now. It's in the Chinese league against a Chinese player I never heard about, but the game is extremely spectacular, and it also shows that Liren can also play sharp tactical chess. He was a little bit he's known like playing a bit untheoretical, but he's a good tactical player. He plays as white. He often plays English, quite untheoretical stuff. And as black, he plays quite solid rush in Petrov or Russian defense. And against here he plays the Nimsu Indian opening, and white goes for one of the sharper lines, I think. So now this looks a little bit like many openings could become a little bit like this. Here, for example, it looks a bit like Queen's Gambit also. So interestingly here, let's go see the computer. The problem for black here is that black has to do g5, or if he moves the queen, then he can get like isolated pawn. Like for example, he did g5, a move that you don't want to make because your king side gets weak. But if you would move the queen, then white has the possibility of weakening black's king side like this. And the alternative to not like weaken the king side is like to go back here, which would be possible, but maybe a little bit passive. Like why didn't you go here in the first place if you are just gonna go back? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe this could also be some kind of an option here, and then play this, but it looks still it will get weak here. So but instead Liren does this one. It's also quite typical in many openings, Queen's Gambit opening with the bishop here, that he goes here, and sometimes maybe he wants to trade here or give white weak pawn here. So white did this, black did like this. Computer says also Queen a5, but actually the computer likes this move also. And here an interesting move, I think, d4. Definitely looks like the right move. For example, if white would take, then this knight would get extremely active here, so he can't do that. He has to go away like this. And then e5 is he has to defend that, otherwise white would just win a pawn, so has to do this. And here there is some combination starting here. White decided to take on e5. An alternative was apparently to play something like this, but the computer is liking black, for example, after this move here, and this pawn is shot down. We saw this kind of bishop getting bad, like f6, and it's just quite bad. Some Magnus games also, and different colored bishop. These ones are weak, so just develop the bishop, maybe rook here, maybe win it back like this. A little bit better for black. So white decides to take here instead, and now Liren does a very nice move here. He sacrifices his queen. So it's really remarkable, because it's the thing is that it's definitely not forced. You can see even the computer prefers to maybe move the queen. Let's look at something at this maybe. And it's quite a unclear play here. Black has lots of lines here. And good. Even if there is some way to definitely good practical chances for black at least. So let's try to win a piece here for white. So if you are gonna suffer, you want to have material. So if you just don't want to suffer in chess, if you suffer, then you at least want to have material so you can win the endgame if the attack doesn't work. Something like this is apparently perpetual checks here, and if you go like this, then hard to think, but it's apparently good compensation for black here. So that was one alternative. Was also possible to go here apparently, putting more pressure. Maybe something like this looks logical. Okay, so this doesn't look so good for black because he's like putting the queen here outside. But yeah, it's apparently the computer thinks it's fine because this knight a4 and start putting pressure here. But I'm happy that Liren did the. Otherwise, if Liren would have played something else, then this wouldn't have been like his best game probably. So I'm happy that he took here and sacrificed his queen. And as you can see on the computer, there is just no way to take. Yeah, white has to take the queen basically. So if the opponent sacks, you often have to take. Otherwise, you just lost like so. Has to take, and here, nice. He can take here and check before, because if he would take the queen, then here and it would not be enough compensation. Here. White apparently makes a big blunder, so black is winning. So because this rook can be taken next move, then because this rook can be taken next move, it looks right to put you have to go back with the rook basically. So it's a bit strange that he didn't do that. Of course, you get into a pin, but otherwise you will just lose the move, the rook for nothing. So black has to go here and to pin it again. And there is apparently a few moves here. And let's look at the worst one first. It's to take here. Maybe. Okay, so if it takes here, then white is going like this. Then it becomes. This is a little bit similar to the game, but it looks like if we compare this to the game, white probably gained a tempo, I would guess. He could also do like this, defend, and then black has to go here first, then take here, then maybe take like this. White has to take some way. And here I think this is nice in between move here. Because otherwise maybe white could activate his king a bit. So something like this, and it's pawn up for white, but black has attack here. So computer think this is equal. So that was one way to play, better way to play for white. And the other one is apparently to go here. Then after take, the key is that you can check here for some reason, which I'm quite sure that they didn't think of. This is unnatural to go here just to be able to give a check. So then you can take here. Then you have to take here, of course. And the key with this bishop, why it's so good here, is because it covers the b1 square. That's the whole point, where you're going here, then give a check. You just give a check because it would get lost here, and the whole point is to cover b1 here. So apparently this is equal. White has strong bishops, but this pawn is a little bit of a compensation here. So this would also have been a better way to play for white. What he did do does lose here, but it's definitely not easy to see. For a human, it's easy for the computer, of course. And the play becomes like this, and then he has this very nice maneuver here, which I'm sure he probably saw this when he sacked the queen, that he could get play here. So one way to play for white would be to take here first, because this knight is needed like in the attack. So take like this, but it's problem for white here is that this knight cannot get out, so it's getting lost here. So black is winning, even if it goes a few more moves here. Something like this. Check. And it's a winning endgame for black here. He can take here later. So instead white moved his queen, which is a logical move. And of course a point of black's play is to give this check here. White decided to go up, which I'm happy for, because that makes the game getting a very nice finish here. It was not bet to go back because of this. You can't take it because it's checkmate. And if you do like this, then apparently here. And the nice thing is that you cannot take back here because it's checkmate. So black will win at least a piece here. Okay, and here is like key move here. Very nice move that is very hard to see and very beautiful, very non-standard move here. As we can see from the computer, also h5 was winning, but he played this move, and there's 2 points. Like if he takes, then of course it's a fork. And if he takes here, it's checkmate in one, like this. So just a nice move to get more pieces into the attack here. And as we can see here, there is really no good defense. For example, if white tries to sack the queen, then take here. Now it looks like it's even material, but there is some problems here for black tactically, because no, for white tactically, I mean, because of this, which is they probably didn't see it, but there is problems here for because this king is still a bit in trouble. So later, yeah, for example, big threat to go here with the rook. Like if you pin here, it's hard to get out, so it probably has to do something like this. But yeah, for example, this one, it threatens mate in 1, like here or here. So he has to move this one, and then he loses the bishop like that. So it's still, even if white were able to trade, then still so much tactical problems here because of this weak king here. So let's see. He played h3. That looks kind of logical to cover here, because often it was made by bishop here or pawn here or something like that. So for example, if he does something random, then of course it's mate in 2 here, like this. So he has to prevent that. So he did h3, and nothing is better. Apparently this is also a move that he could try to get a square here. Then best for black is to take, and it still is problems here. And again, if he tries to sack his queen back to get rid of the attack, then there is still tactical problems. Apparently the problem here is that this bishop is trapped and is lost, so while black is winning. So very nice that everything works here. Very hard, must be quite hard to calculate everything, but because there's quite many variations. So white did this one, it's the most logical maybe to prevent this checkmate, and black does this again, and the threat again is of course to go here, take, and it's a checkmate. So white tried bishop h2, so move the bishop. If he did this one, we could try the same line here. And even if now white got this square for the bishop, so this is not lost, but of course these pieces are very bad, and apparently this one is yeah, the king is almost trapped here in a mating net. For example, rook here is very bad, and the only way is to go here, so you can run like this. But yeah, at least black is getting like two pawns up and winning position here, because he has such a good attack even without the queen. With all his pieces is participating in the attack, and white's pieces are not good. Okay, so here, sorry, a little bit fast. Liren gave this check here, and white decided to move the king. And here he finds a very nice move again using the theme of the fork. When he played the rook here, the king was here, it couldn't be taken because it was a fork, and now he does this one, and again if he takes, it's also a fork. So he's constantly using his active pieces here. Okay, so white did queen b3. There is nothing here. For example, take. Maybe even easiest just to take back here. And if you would move here, then this is checkmate like this. This king will get checkmated soon, I guess, by something like this. Nice checkmate line. It's a little bit similar to the game, actually, I think, that one. So, and of course if he takes here, then he loses the, he basically loses the the queen, and it's one piece down for nothing, so you can't take here. So he decided to go here. And now Liren does the same tactic as I showed before. He does like this. White played here. The alternative is to go here. And then there is this one. And you can't take here because it will be a checkmate. Like this. Very nice line. So this is like typical of these famous games, is that it's used not one combination. It's a very long combination, and every thing is working out perfectly. Sorry, that's too fast. Sorry. Okay, and the other way was to go here, take, and maybe put the knight here. Then you can basically just take it, because you still have like the attack, and yeah, it's still problems here. Now there is a fork again here. Something like this could happen. There is so many nice lines here. And if you go here, it's checkmate. If you go here, you can just take it, and the attack continues. And you can't sack your queen, of course, because you have two pieces down. So that was not much better for white to go here, so he decided to go here. Liren does the correct move to check here, and we get a line that's a bit similar to the other one, but in the other one black took like the bishop like this, but now black just played this simple king move here to take away this square. It's also the correct move for the computer to play like this. So if it would be black's turn, for example, bishop here and rook here, and it would be checkmate. So that's one of the threats. Maybe the biggest threat here. So for example, let's say try to go here. You can probably do this also, but you could also go here. So let's see this one first. Now it's threatening checkmate, so only chance is to check. Maybe take here. So it's not like mate at once, but black is bringing more and more pieces. So a saying is like, if you should count the attackers and defenders. So white has two defenders here, and black has like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, like black has 4 in the attack, and these two are almost in the attack, and this one is almost in the defense. So it's like definitely winning for black because he has more pieces in the attack. So instead taking there, black instead of doing that, white took here, and so I went a little bit fast. He went bishop f4, and it was also possible like to take on f2, but black decided to go here instead to get this check. So then he decided to check here, and he took there, trying to win some material here. And now black took here. The reason why you take on f2, it's because this knight f3, knight e3 is mate. So that's a threat. So he has to cover that. And only way is to go here. And this is a little bit of a trap, because if you would take here with the bishop, then the queen can start attacking, and it's not so clear. But Liren finds the best move. It's a mate in 7 now by going here, which again threatens king here, bishop here, and checkmate. So there is no escape for white, but he tried this one. And then black checked here, so now it's another mating stuff, because yeah, this one doesn't really work anymore. Not like that. If he would go here, then of course he would take the rook. So bishop g6 was checked, and now, for example, if he goes here, this move, it's like a fork. If you go here, then this one, nice move to go away here. Why doesn't this work? Okay, so then he could take here. Yeah, because this one is pinned, so you don't have this checkmate. So he had to do exactly correct here. And now if it takes, it's made like this. So that's also a cool tactic, that he has to go to the right one. And if you go here, of course you can take, because it's a pin. Okay, and the alternative was to take here, and then he would have checked. And if here, that's also like an awesome, like moving the king away to checkmate. That's just so beautiful. And here it's almost the same. So yeah, so this game is very nice. It's Liren's most famous game, and it was played in 2017. And I don't really exactly remember, but Liren had he was playing very good at this time. Then when he was playing the Norway chess, he was like in a bike accident. I think that he fell on his bike when he was biking, maybe in the woods, or because Norway is quite a very hilly mountain. So if you fall on your bike, it can hurt. Basically, it can hurt a lot. Basically, because there is so many hills in Norway. So he had to withdraw from that tournament, and probably quite a painful stuff. So after that he had like a year when it was doing worse. So here he was like 27-74, and after that he took kind of a long break, and also because of COVID, which made it so that it was COVID lockdowns was much more harsh in China than in the West, basically. So he couldn't play like any tournaments. Of course he could play like on internet and stuff, but not any real tournaments for a long time. And then when COVID ended, which was almost at the same time as Russia invaded Ukraine, so it was around it was in the spring of 2022, I think. So maybe between 2000 and 2022 Liren didn't play so much. And then to get into the candidate tournaments, like he had over 2800 then, but he hadn't played so many games for like since before COVID, basically. So he couldn't get the candidate spots on rating, so he had to play like a special Chinese tournament where he played the needed games, one game each day for a month, basically. I think to get enough games to qualify for the candidates, and he won that tournament, I think, and did well, and he also did very well in the candidates tournaments, where he won that candidate tournament, of course, and then he got the right to challenge. To challenge Magnus, but Magnus had no. Actually, I think Nepomniachtchi won the tournament, so he got the right to challenge Magnus to a second World Championship match, or third one. I don't really remember, but to another World Championship match, and because Magnus withdrew as world champion, it was decided that Liren, who got second in the candidates, should play Nepomniachtchi, and Nepomniachtchi and Liren won that match, so he's the current world champion. And if you look at this game, it's really deserved, but this is a little bit of an exception, because often Chinese players, they're playing, and Liren also, he's playing solidly both with black and white, especially as black against e4. I think it's either Petrov or which is the Russian, or Berlin. But as white, he can play quite complicated English stuff. So it will be interesting against Gukesh, because Gukesh often plays the same style as white: knight f3, g3, and maybe one c4, one d4. So it will be like, because all of Magnus World Championship matches, his main move was one e4, and all his opponents, Anand, Karyakin, Caruana, and Nepomniachtchi, I think their main move is also one e4. Sometimes they play d4, but I think one e4 is their main move. So it has become a lot of e4 games. But in this match, I don't think we will see a single e4, because I think both Ding and Gukesh is mainly d4, c4, knight f3, some kind of that, which is, I see that those three moves, d4, c4, and knight f3, as basically one way to open it, and the other one is e4, because there is so many move order transposition, which is that often it becomes exactly the same position if you start with knight f3 or d4. It doesn't really matter. So will be interesting to see Ding Liren against Gukesh. So let's now look at Gukesh's games. I wanted to show this Ding Liren game because here next Gukesh game we are looking at now. It's 2023, so it's just 1 year until Gukesh wins the candidates, and maybe almost 2 years, or 1.5 years, a bit more than that, until the World Championship match. So, and they are playing the VKC tournament in Netherlands, and I will analyze this game in the next video. And this is might be the only game. I don't know if they played in the Chess Olympiad, but because I don't think so. I don't think Gukesh and Ding Liren, I think they stood over now in the Chess Olympiad. So this might have been the only game that these two players has played before the World Championship match. So this was also a good game. So we're going to look at this one now.